Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the match preview. West Ham United versus Everton at the London Stadium, Sunday, 2 o'clock. Been trying to put this day off for ages, having to do a match preview, but here we are, we're back. The football has returned. Everton have got 11 games to save themselves. Essentially, that's it, isn't it? I keep on hearing people talk about what this team might do and what that team might do and where they might win and where they might win. Doesn't matter. It's what we do. It's what we do. We can't rely on anybody else. And it starts with this game. West Ham, very, very tough opponents. David Moyes has made them very Everton-like in the David Moyes era. Strong at home. Doing really well in the Europa League. And it's going to be a very tough game.
It is. He's done a great job, Moyes. Went back there. People raised eyebrows when he went back there because he'd only had a small amount of time and he got rid of them. But he went back and he's done a brilliant job since he's gone back. You know, strong last season, got into the Europa League, strong again this season. Quarter-finals of the Europa League, got Lyon, haven't they, on Thursday. Haven't beat Sevilla in the last one. So, really, really tough game for Everton. But like you've just said, it's in Everton's hands.
Yeah.
Survival's in their own hands. They win all the games. They stay up. No one can do anything about it. They get better results than Burnley and Watford and Norwich. They stay up. So it's in our hands. We have games in hand on teams around us. This is a hugely difficult game, but got to stand up and be counted.
West Ham are a really good example of what can happen as well if you get your house in order. You know, they were like us in terms of their owners were probably trying to be grander than what they were. They were trying to run before they could walk. They were going after managers left, right and centre. And, you know, a couple of seasons ago, they were in a bit of a mess. David Moyes came in, sorted them out, got control. And, you know, last season they finished in the European places. This season they're very much in the European places as well. Doing really well in Europe as well. And it is an example of how quickly actually it can all turn around if you get your ducks in a row. And, you know, their fans are absolutely loving it and fair play to them. Fair play to them. You know, you don't really hear too much from their owners anymore, whereas they used to love, talking all the time. And they've shown what can be done. So fair play to them. And I know the fans were a big part of that. They wanted to see changes at West Ham, and I think they've got them. So it can turn around really quickly. And listen, it's a tough game. We know it's a tough game. Everton have had a couple of weeks to prepare for this. They haven't had lots of players away, so they'll have had a good couple of weeks, hopefully. And I just hope that what we see in this game is a reflection of what we're going to see going forward. Listen, we've been terrible away from home and decent at home with the crowd behind us. What I want to see is a little bit of resilience. I want to see a formation and a team that are working hard for the whole game, that don't fall to bits if a goal goes in. And, you know, we see something that we can think, well, we've got something now. Because we've got tough games. We've got West Ham away, then we've got Burnley away, a game we must not lose. We've got Watford coming up away from home, another one. We've got tough away games, really important away games, and we can't just rely on the home form. We have to have a little bit of room to play in. Yeah. And that starts this week. That starts going there. Put a performance in there. You think, right, we've gone somewhere. Put a performance in. Hopefully we get something out the game. Hopefully, you know, a point would be huge this weekend, taking us into that Burnley game. But we need a performance we can get behind and think, right, that's the gold standard. That is what we want to achieve every time we play away.
Yeah, we've just been simply too easy to beat on our travels. You know, we started the season really well away from home. You know, drew at Leeds and won at Brighton. You know, 4 points from the opening 6, and then went to United and got a point there. It was okay. It was decent. We were solid. We looked a threat on the counter-attack. You know, but since those, well, certainly since Manchester United back in early October, we've only got 1 point away from home since then. That was at Chelsea. And so Everton have got to start being resilient. You know, and I've seen people putting this all on Frank Lampard's doorstep and blaming him. Mm-hmm. But the truth is, we were rubbish under Benitez away from home as well. You know, in fact, the last 7 games under Benitez and the first 7 games under Lampard's got more points.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is a problem that Everton have had all season, really. And it is a case of throwing a towel in when things start going against them. You know, we saw West Ham, when West Ham come to Goodison back in October, Everton could have gone second that day if we'd have won. Mm. And it was a tight game, and West Ham won it off a set piece. We lost the game 1-0. Probably deserved something out the game. They could have made it 2-0 after he made it 1-0, but up until they scored the goal, it was quite tight. You know, both defences on top. And since then, you know, we have just, that's really the start of where things started going wrong. If Everton would have won that day and gone second, who knows? But, you know, since then, we started going the other way. West Ham have gone from strength to strength, and we haven't. So we've got to go there this weekend, dig in, prove that they're capable of digging in, prove that they carry a threat on the break, and try to get something out the game. You know, we won there a year ago. Well, just under a year ago, wasn't it? Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored when West Ham were flying. And we've got to put in the same kind of performance, which is go there, be tough, take our chance when it comes along, but stay in the game. And you're right, if we do concede a goal, stay in the game. Keep your head, don't give up cheap goals. And that's the biggest thing. Everton have been giving up too many cheap goals. It's too easy to score against us at times because people stop doing what was working in the open. Yeah. Certainly the pattern of the last few games. Everton have come out the blocks really quickly and been on top. And if they'd have got the goal, they'd have probably done better in the game, but they haven't. And then they kind of sort of go, oh, we've been all over these and it's 0-0. And they start feeling sorry for themselves. And then the next minute, they're 1 down. And they just go like that with the white flag straight away. And it can end up being 5-0, 4-0, as we've seen in the last 2 away games. Whereas, you know, even like the game against like Southampton, 0-0 at half-time, still in that game. 1-0, you're still in that game. But people's heads go down, they stop doing what they're...
So how do we approach it then? Do we approach it where, you know, we go... Do we look at the game and think West Ham done well at home? Do we go ultra defensive? Do we go 5 at the back? Do we put 3 in midfield? You know, do we look to maybe not be massively aggressive like we have at the start of other games and then capitulate? Or do we start by going, no, we're just going to soak it up, feel it in. You know, the keeper's going to go long. He's not going to play anything short early on in the game. Make sure that we are tight in the first 20 minutes. Don't give the opponents any encouragement. Because almost like it felt like to me, like the Palace game, it was like we punched ourselves out. It was the old rope-a-dope. It was like, you know, the other team like, well, if we just let these sit off, you know, if we sit off, and let these just play, they won't do anything, and then we'll get ourselves into the game. You know, Spurs was the same. It was a frenzied start, but then the gaps were there, and as soon as they realised they were round the back of us, and I just think that maybe we have to not start slowly, by the way, that's a different thing, like Norwich. What I mean is feel our way into a game and go, you're not getting anything through us, and we're not going to arse about and give you many chances either. We're going to make sure that for the first 20 minutes or so, we go long, Dominic Calvert-Lewin or whatever, and we try and play in the final third. So it's week 31 of Ultimate Fan, and there is £1,000 prize pot to be won this week. It is time to pick my team. Let's see who I'm going to go for. Well, the team last time out was, as you can see, was a bit all over the place. There was only a few games in the Premier League. I got 40 points, which wasn't great. But now it's time to change that team. Starting with my team, I've currently got West Ham. I'm going to change them for Manchester City, who are away to Burnley. Hopefully 3 points for Manchester City. Defenders, I've got Fofana and Gabriel. I'm going to swap them for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool are playing Watford, and I'm going to go for João Cancelo as my defender. Midfield, I'm going to go for Kevin De Bruyne. He's going to go in there instead of Tielemans. Saka, I'm going to leave Saka in. Scored last time out there. Arsenal playing Crystal Palace. I'm going to leave him in. Harry Kane, I'm going to leave in. They're playing Newcastle at home. And I'm going to go for Mo Salah, who we'll have to wait and see whether he's over his laser pen incident that's seen him miss a penalty for Egypt. They are not going to the World Cup because of that. I'm going to make him my captain, and I'm going to give Harry Kane the golden boot. And that is my team this week for Ultimate Fan. Make sure you download the app right now for a chance to win a prize pot of £1,000. Join the Toffee TV League as well. See if you can win the bragging rights for this week. The link is in the description, so make sure you go and get it now. There's a free subscription, there's a silver $2.99 subscription, and there's a $4.99 subscription. That is the gold subscription. Lots of other perks included in that as well. Download the app now. The link is in the description.
Well, you've got to make yourself resolute for a start, haven't you? You've got to dig in. You've got to not take chances. When the ball drops, put your foot through it. Get it away from your goal, which Everton have tended not to do lately. It's not the blueprint for the long-term future, but we've got 11 games and we've got to battle and scrap for points. What Everton have to do in this game is stay in the game. We've got to stay in the game, and whether that means 4-3-3 or 4-5-1 at times. I'm not a fan of the 5 at the back, I'll be honest.
No.
If he went with three at the back and he had Patterson and Michalenko on both sides, then maybe, yeah. And you had Coleman, Godfrey and Keane, say, as the 3 centre-backs. Just because they're available at the moment, I could go okay. But then your midfield, you still haven't sure. But if you've got runners up and down the line, like Patterson and that, and you've got people ahead, then yeah, maybe you can do that. Maybe you can almost play what West Ham played at Spurs, I guess, which is 3-4-2-1.
Yeah.
And just try to be compact. Okay, it didn't work that day for them, but it has in other occasions. I think we've just got to plug the holes. We've done very well against Man City at home by being disciplined.
Yeah.
And then we broke and had chances.
Yeah.
Why can't we do that at West Ham? We were very good against Leeds by doing very similar, but what we did against Leeds was every man just made sure they won the battle. And then he took the chances when they come along. In other games, we have got bored because we haven't scored. It's that kind of thing, and it's almost been that any plan that they had went out the door the minute they concede a goal. That can't continue.
It does feel like that. I mean, apart from the Southampton game, we've conceded in the first half. I know Newcastle, we went in at 1-1 at half time, but we've conceded goals in the first half too much, and then and that's led to what we've seen creep in. It hasn't been the same necessarily. Home Leeds, we scored early and got the second early. I know Newcastle was late on, but it was the fact that we weren't conceding. The confidence comes from not conceding, and the minute we concede, it just all falls to bits. And that's what I'm saying about we have to have something that means for as long as we can in the game that we don't concede, because if it's 0-0, obviously you feel like you're still in the game. But the minute it goes 1-0, there is this universal feeling, which starts on the pitch, by the way. It doesn't start with fans. No. It doesn't start in the crowd. It doesn't start on Twitter. It starts with the players. The players go 1-0 down, and it goes. The heads drop. There's a sense of that's the game gone. So for me, we have to come up with a way, and that's on the manager. Whether he. What I worry about 5 at the back is, or 3 with wing backs is that because you're only playing 2 midfield, and because we're not really strong there with the players we've got, you are allowing the opponents to get into the final third, and it's almost like once they're in the final third, it's all over.
Anything can happen. Yeah.
It's all over. Whereas we need to get that protection in front of them, and I don't know whether that this weekend that could possibly involve Fabian Delph coming into the side. We know he's back fit. Obviously, Allen's not available, so that would seem the sensible thing, wouldn't it, to bring him back in? He's got 2 games in him. before he gets another injury. But that would seem the most logical, sensible thing to do.
For me, you've got to put 3 in midfield because they've got Declan Rice, who's brilliant in there, and Souček, who's really good in there as well. So they're very strong in central areas, West Ham. Rice runs the game, doesn't he? And so you've got to put 3 people in there with them. I don't think we can match up with Decore and Van der Beek or Decore and Gomez. They can't match up Declan Rice and Souček. They just can't. So you've got to put an extra body in there. Someone who can do the work. Now, whether that's Donny van der Beek, whether it's him, Decore and Dele as a 3, or whether it's Fabian Delph who's going to sit in front of the back 4 and have the other 2, Decore trying to break, join in, and Van der Beek taking the ball in tight areas and keeping it. Maybe that's the most sensible way to go in this game. You know, and then you look to play off Gordon and you look to play off Richarlison with Dom through the middle. Maybe that's how you line up. And you kind of go, right, you 2 tuck in as well and make it busy in there, work hard. Like Damari Gray's been brilliant for us, but I think Anthony Gordon's work rate for me would get him in over Gray for this one. Richarlison, I think you want to get him in, you want to keep him in anyway, because I think the goals away with Brazil, albeit they were tap-ins or whatever, he's confident, got 3 goals last 2 games. I think you need Dominic Calvert-Lewin because you need someone who's going to keep hold of the ball for you. So it has to be them. And then obviously, you know, there's been a lot of talk about Dele. You know, does Dele come into this game?
Does he fit?
Does he come in? If he comes in, he has to come probably instead of Van der Beek then. Really, and you have to have him breaking with the core. You say to the Corey and Delph, you 2 just sit and let Dele be the one who breaks, and you're almost playing a 4-2-3-1 then. Maybe this is the game to throw him. Do you think
that Dele would benefit from having a natural sitter like Delph, who does want to sit in front of the back 4, who does want to take the ball? Because the games, listen, we know what the situation with Delph is, and you can't really warm to the fella, let's be honest, because of his attitude while he's been at Everton. But the moments he has played in games, a lot of the time, he's done all right. He gets the ball. He's good on the half turn. He'll get it moving.
Likes to tackle.
And he'll get it moving. And he will sit because he's not energetic. He's not all over the pitch. He is someone who likes to sit and be that screener in front of the defence. And I just wonder, by having him and knowing you've got the security of having him, does then allow you to have Dele on the other side of it, being a little bit more, you know, attacking the space a little bit more, looking to push, looking to break the lines to join in with the centre forward. That leaves, of course, the Corey, who then is a box-to-box, and we've not really seen the best of him recently, and frankly, he's been very disappointing.
Yeah, but he's still got it, hasn't he? Decore, on his day, still our best midfielder, and he's proved that at times. I think if you've got that insurance of Delph just sitting there, then maybe he can get about the pitch. You want him to move their midfielders about. That's what you want him to do. But you'd also have Dele breaking. Dele can cause a problem for them, breaking into the box then off Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and you'd have Gordon and Richarlison either side. So there's a couple of ways that he could play. You know, he could go with try and be solid at the back and have Coleman, Keane, Godfrey.
Said solid.
But he could go with Coleman, Godfrey, Keane and Mykolenko with the balance at left back. So the one thing I don't want him to play is 3 at the back and the wing backs are Kenny and Coleman, because he's just asking for trouble. He's tried it now, it hasn't worked. It worked in one game, which was Leeds at home. It's not worked in any other game. So bin it. Get either Patterson's energy on that right hand side or get Mykolenko's balance with the left foot on the other side and start to do it that way. West Ham, they're not a team that scores millions of goals, but they're strong, and they're strong off set pieces as well. You know, so you've got to stay tight and compact. We know, we had David Moyes for 11 years. We know how good he gets you, how well drilled you are, how the way you're in every game. We know that. So us as fans, there's no shocks there. He's done a great job there.
Again,
he's done that good a job. A lot of Evertonians are that's saying why? We had 2 goals, we could have got him back and we didn't.
Let's just have a little look at the West Ham team.
Yeah, this is what they played last time out. They went with 3 at the back, Zuma, Dawson, Cresswell as the almost like we're talking about Coleman playing. Cresswell played the left side of the centre backs. Masuaka rather left wing back. Johnson at right wing back has done really well this season, and then the Souček, Rice, and then obviously Lanzini, Benrahma, and Mikel Antonio.
Well, there was no Bowen. Bowen was out injured, wasn't he? And Antonio has been struggling with an injury. I think he went off after 57 minutes against Spurs. And obviously they'll have had a couple of weeks now. Antonio more, Antonio's that kind of player. He's always going to pick up injuries, isn't he? He's always going to get them. We know he's had problems throughout his career. But Bowen would have been a big loss to them.
But he's back in the squad, isn't he?
But that's what I'm saying. They've had a couple of weeks now, unfortunately, to get over those injuries. So it'll be, be interesting to see whether he comes back in the side. But you're right, the likes of Souček and Rice, Rice is such a good player now. He's what he's developed into. He allows them to play 3 because of the way he plays, the way he sits in front of them. And it's, they've got a decent side. Yarmolenko started scoring the odd goal as well, which is obviously we've seen because the emotional side of things with everything that's going on. So it's going to be such a difficult game. But let's just have a little look at Antonio's numbers.
There you go. So 29 appearances, 28 starts, 8 goals, 7 assists, and the average is 2.4 shots per game.
He's a handful, isn't he? He is a handful.
Strong, very strong, direct.
Good finisher as well, like a really good finisher. Like for someone who wasn't a centre forward, he's a good finisher. Like he's a good player. But the injury situation is always rears its head, and we'll have to wait. You'd be more hopeful, obviously, if Yeremina was playing. But Ben Godfrey, I think, strength and pace-wise,
that's what his strengths are, aren't
that's what they are. You've just got to make sure you don't give them opportunities. And they do play with a couple of number 10s.
Yeah, they were dangerous. Lanzini's a good player, got a good shot on him.
So
again, which is why it's important, I think, maybe to have Delph sitting as opposed to having a third centre-back.
Yeah.
So listen, you can't sit. Everton aren't in any kind of form where you could sit and go, oh no, you know what? If we've had 2 weeks to formulate a plan, and we've got to go and put it into practice now. And like you said, we've got to get up. We said this the other week, and it hasn't happened. It's happened at home, but it's not happened away. And that is, we've got to get up to a level of performance where, if you perform at that level, most weeks you'll get something. And we haven't seen this away from home. Yeah. Frank Lampard's lost every away game so far, but we were losing the away games before he come in anyway. So he's not been able to affect it. Rafa Benitez couldn't affect it. There must be something going on there.
Characterless, aren't we?
Character, and that's the problem. And yet, sometimes teams dig in and get results from nowhere when it looks like they're in trouble. And that's what Everton have to do now. Yeah. They've had the little, almost like the factory reset for these last 2 weeks. The game stopped. They've had training. Some players have gone away and done okay on international duty. And it's almost like we've got a mini season to play. There's 11 games. And we're starting afresh now.
A mini pre-season.
And that's it. And hopefully, we catch West Ham at a good time where they're just not quite back up. They've got one eye on a huge game on Thursday against Lyon in the Europa League. And they're just not quite back up to speed yet. And that's all we can hope for.
Just rest a few, Dave.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're your first love.
Yeah.
Come on, Dave.
Come on.
Put the cardigan on.
Put the cardi on.
Put the cardi on and just chill out, mate. And say, lads, take it easy on these lads. These are good set of lads. These are like this club.
These are no threats here at the moment.
We like playing games against you. West Ham and Everton, they're good tradition.
We let them beat us a few times. So, there you go.
Unfortunately, yeah.
We did, didn't we?
So.
Following a 1-0 win at Goodison in October, West Ham are looking to complete their first league double over Everton for 50 years.
Dave, you don't want that on your CV.
No. Everton have lost just once of their last 13 Premier League games against West Ham. Away games against West Ham, winning 8 and drawing 4. The only one we lost was to Moyes, 3-1, end of the season.
Yeah, Nias scored.
Yeah. Everton have won fewer away points than any other side in the league this season. 6. The Toffees are currently without a win in 11 away games. Pathetic. The longest run since... The longest without a win since a run of 16 between February and December 2017. Wow. Everton are winless in 9 Premier League games played on a Sunday. There you go. Great, isn't it? West Ham have won a league high 13 points from losing positions in the Premier League this season.
This is all good
and
stuff.
No side has scored a lower total of goals in the first half. Everton haven't scored in 11 of their 13 Premier League games in the first half.
Oh, all the feels. All the feels.
In the last.
There you go.
So would you?
There you go.
Would you a win and would you a goal in the first half?
That's what all those stats tell me.
They tell me.
We are
that's
due
what would you
to win a game of football.
And West Ham are playing great and they're a good side, so they could realistically they could lose this week and then go and beat Leon.
Leon's a big game.
We'll all be behind you on Thursday.
We'll all be with you.
We'll all be giving it that on Thursday.
Fully
ironed up. So just let us have a result on Sunday, please.
Yeah.
That's honestly, all we can ask for.
Us and Mick from EastEnders will all be there together. Danny died, of course.
Oh, Danny died.
Of course.
Yeah.
No.
There you go.
There you go. Right. There you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to make sure, if you haven't already, to download the Ultimate Fan app. There is money to be earned. Get over there. The link is in the description. Give this video a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you want more videos, join us over on Patreon. The link is in the description. And there's a little QR code on the screen that you can either scan with your phone or you can click for exclusive videos, daily live videos. Thanks for watching. See you later.